What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Double A Hef here with another dose of the Truth Scope. So, I do want to say something very fast. Please like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff to the video. It really helps out the channel. Thank you. So, anyway, LeBron James has had a hell of an NBA career. He exceeded my expectations for him. I think he's exceeded his own expectations. I think he's exceeded everyone's expectations. You know, to do what he did, coming from where he came from, and not just do what he did, do what he's doing, I should say. You know, you have to tip your hat to that. So I give LeBron a whole bunch of credit as it pertains to that. Now, don't get me wrong. You know, him with his super woke bullshit, you know, even though he's in bed with China, that's a whole different story for a whole different day. I'm just talking about this video right here is just about LeBron James as an NBA basketball player and an NBA all-time great. You know, a bunch of LeBron's quote-unquote fanboys, fangirls, D-riders, whatever you want to call them. You know, I think they're the ones that make it. I don't want to say difficult for LeBron because you know LeBron's good. You know what I'm saying? LeBron ain't really worried about none of the nonsense. I'm sure he's very content with where he's at and what he's accomplished. But as it pertains to like the whole the realm where the sports talk exists and stuff like that, you know, I think the LeBron super fans and all of that, they do him a great disservice because there's many things to be happy and all that for LeBron. You know, I don't think we have to go and try to like, you know, blow smoke or, you know, put the ultra battery in his back and all sort of stuff. And, you know, look, is he the greatest basketball player of all time? No, he's not. No, he's not. Is he one of the greatest basketball talents of all time? Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And that's without a doubt. But personally, when I look at LeBron's career, I have him like he's like teetering in my top five. He's teetering. You know, he's definitely teetering in my top five. You know, there's times where I'm like, all right, yeah, LeBron's top five. There's times where I'm like, you know what, like he's definitely not. And it's because, you know, look, man, when you look at LeBron's championships, those were some Fugazi championships, man. Fugazis. And then all the theatrics, you know, making his teams and, you know, capitalizing on all that stuff. I'm not mad at you for doing that. You know, do what you got to do. You know, if you have certain luxuries afforded to you, hey, make the best of said luxuries. I got nothing against that. But, you know, keep in mind that when all this the dust settles, you're going to be evaluated based off said things. Like, for instance, Kevin Durant went to Golden State. He got two championships, and he got two Finals MVPs. We already knew Kevin Durant was a great player before that. That just solidified him as a great player. But we look at those championships with an asterisk because he didn't lead those championship teams. Those Warrior championship teams that Kevin Durant was part of were led by, they had two leaders, and Kevin Durant was not one of them. They had the emotional leader in Draymond Green and also the defensive leader, and then they had like the leader in Steph. You know, they followed Steph. KD was just like the freelance assassin that they acquired. You know, with no allegiance to nobody. So you know he didn't lead that, and as you can see now, you know KD is dealing with that. His legacy is taking the hit from that, and as it should, just like LeBron's bubble championship. And again, I'm not against LeBron winning the championship. At the end of the day, somebody had to win that shit, right? Like, for instance, when Jordan retired, when the best basketball player on the fucking face of the earth retired, you know what happened? Hakeem won two championships. Wanna know why? Somebody got to do it. So I'm not mad at LeBron for winning it. He did what the fuck he was supposed to do. And excuse my language, but he did what he was supposed to do. Because if he hadn't, that would have been an even bigger knock on his legacy. But anyway, I digress. as you can see, Skip and Shannon there having a discussion about LeBron entering his 20th year and all that stuff. And again, that's a huge accomplishment. You don't get to 20 years in the NBA by being a slouch, by not being in tip top shape for the most part, and or not being able to perform. So kudos to LeBron.
Level for an extended period of time. It's the ones that try to cram and skip. It's kind of like a lot of smart people.
See Carmelo Anthony.
Yes.
Where you just try to make it up at the
He
end.
want to try to get his body in tip-top shape now.
Well, I will say this about the whole Carmelo thing, all right? And this is not me being biased as a New York Knicks fan or yada yada yada. It's just, again, objective observer here. Last time I checked, Carmelo Anthony came out of the league the same year. Came into the league the same year LeBron James did. They got drafted in the same draft. And that's on top of Carmelo going to college and winning the national championship. So if anything, Carmelo has more tread, kinda. I'm not gonna say more tread because obviously LeBron has went to the finals many times. So that's tread. But they're not that far apart. Literally, they came in the same goddamn draft. And Carmelo, last time I checked, he's not on the team right now. I'm not sure if he wants to still play or what's going to happen. Do I think that he still can? Do I think that there's a team that could use him for sure? But for Skip to reference Carmelo Anthony, see a Carmelo Anthony, it's not like the nigga's been out the league for 5 years. Last time I checked, D Wade has been out the league for what? How many years now? 3 years? 3-4 years D Wade been out, and they all came out the same draft. Although I think D Wade was in college maybe a year longer than Carmelo was. Y'all can correct me, please, in the comments because I'm not sure about that. But I do know that D Wade went to Marquette. I don't know how long he was there for. I can't remember. But I do know that Melo was the one and done at Syracuse. So I don't understand why they do things like that on not just this show but other sports talk shows. I don't know. Maybe that's why they're declining. And other outlets like YouTube. There's some great YouTubers out there that do phenomenal sports content videos, breakdowns, full analysis, all that stuff, even debates. So it's the dawn of a new age, and it's due in part to silly stuff like that. Carmelo Anthony is a top 75 player of all time, top 10 scorer of all time, and the nigga is still in the league. Basically, until the season starts and he's not on the team, then he's still in the league. So it's just weird.
16, year 17. Well, LeBron James started from year 1 and kept his body in shape. It's kind of like the student.
And to that point that Shannon's making, I'm not saying that Carmelo Anthony kept his body in shape like a freaking a LeBron James. I'm not saying that at all because clearly he did not. Had Carmelo did that, he would probably be higher on an all-time scoring list. He probably would have won a championship, at least one. There's many things that I can say about that, but obviously you can't poo-poo him because he's still an NBA at the end of the day. So, when we look at players like Shaq let himself go. Shaq left some years and some points and some rebounds and all that stuff on the hardwood floor because of not keeping himself in shape. Am I saying that that's okay? No, I'm not. I'm saying that, again, to play that damn long is not an easy feat. And Carmelo has played every year. I lied. There was 1 year where Carmelo was not in the league. But outside of that, Carmelo has played in the league every single year that LeBron has. And then, who else? Who else didn't really be in shape? Oh, Paul Pierce. But the thing about Paul Pierce, he just got a weird body, man. You know what I'm saying? You watch Paul Pierce in high school, you watch Paul Pierce in college, he just got a weird body. You know what I'm saying? I think even if he would have the same exact trainer as Michael Jordan or even LeBron James, that Paul Pierce's body would just look like that. I think, a portion of it is just genetics. Clearly.
Some can cram and get it. But a lot of the really good ones, Skip, they study. and they've always studied.
You can't cram shape. You just
No.
Yeah.
Because eventually it'll catch up with you.
It will.
Because as you get older, it gets harder and harder to cram, and you need more and more time, and you end up hurting yourself. But the way he eats, the way that he trains, the way that he conditions himself, the time that he puts in the gym, as they say, the lab. This is a normal occurrence for him. This is not new. He's true to this.
By the way, history will show you, studies will show you, if you lose 50 pounds, the odds are you will gain back even more. If
Yes.
you go on crash diet
Yes.
to lose 50, go ahead.
It's got to be a lifestyle.
Yes.
Because, see, a diet, and this is what I tell people, a diet has a start-stop time. You're going to start it at a particular time, and you're going to stop it. But a lifestyle, that
Agreed.
is said the way you live.
Yep.
LeBron James lives a certain lifestyle with the way he eats, the way he trains, and the way he conducts himself as far as getting ready for the basketball season. And the Kobe's, the Jordans, the guys, and at the end, it got harder and harder for Jordan Skip. But, you in your late 30s, you in your late 40s, it's kind of hard to summon it up.
It wasn't hard through 98.
No, it wasn't hard. No. But but Skip, being away from the game, I believe it'll be hard for LeBron if he were to take 3 years off and just try to come back where he wasn't training like that because Jordan didn't have anything to train for. He's like, I'm retired. What do I need to wear 195 pounds for? I'm in retirement. I need to enjoy some of this. So let me get on my cigars. Let me drink some and have me a nice cocktail, a nice beverage whenever I want to. But LeBron James is at the peak of his game, and he knows in order for him to stay at this level, this is what's required of him. I don't know if he's training harder. I know he's training smarter because as you get older, you can't train as hard. You can't summon it up. And the body will break down. And that's what most athletes have to.
And we've been seeing LeBron's body break down over the years. Ever since he got to LA, he's been breaking down. Father Time is undefeated. Don't get me wrong, LeBron is still, done some things in his later years, but he's definitely, ever since he got to LA, that's when the injuries started to occur. Now, am I saying it's because he went to LA? No, I'm saying it's because he's older. He's older, and he plays heavy minutes, and he dominates the ball. So all minutes aren't created equally. LeBron's minutes are probably like the hardest type of minutes you can have in basketball because he dominates the ball like a James Harden did and like a Russell Westbrook did. And that's why Westbrook basically, burned out his tank because those are some hard minutes, man. When you playing, close to 40 minutes a night and your freaking usage rate is like 30% and above, and you're the scoring load for the team. That is a lot of wear and tear.
Understand, you have to train smarter, not longer, not harder. Ramp the intensity up for shorter periods of time. But this is who LeBron James is, so I'm not surprised that he's in the lab like he is.
Okay. I'm going to say what I've said many times on the show that nobody wants to hear. I greatly admire LeBron's discipline and dedication to staying in peak shape, not just good shape, in great shape.
We know how hard it is.
Great. We know. He does it. Mike Macias, who is his trainer, is a protege of the great Tim Grover, who trained Jordan and Kobe and Dwayne.
Yeah.
Okay, so he picked the right guy who's been with him from the start.
Right.
And they do it correctly.
Right.
And in the sizzle reel, he looks all-time great to me, especially for his age and stature in the game. Mm-hmm. We're into year 20. And as far as shape goes, you just couldn't be in better shape going into year 20.
I'll tell you what, LeBron got one of the weirdest goddamn shots I've ever seen in my life. Even his turnaround fadeaway. Don't get me wrong, he's definitely worked on it. You could tell because even in the Drew League, that's all these freaking shoots and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, it's a good shot to have. It's a shot that I have in my repertoire. It's basically unguardable. So everyone should have it. But even when he shoots that shot, it's like, it just looks weird. LeBron James just looks weird shooting the basketball. Yeah, and I'm not, it just is what it is. It's not like, you'll never, you'll never take a LeBron tape of him shooting any type of shot. Any type of shot. And I mean like a jump shot. Like not just like, they might say, oh, a layup is a shot or a floater. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about any type of 3-point shot, whether it's a set 3-point shot, off a screen 3-point shot, off the dribble 3-point shot, step back 3-point shot, yeah, et cetera, and fadeaways, turnarounds, all that stuff. You're never gonna. They're never gonna put a LeBron tape to teach somebody how to do those shots. Period. Now, does he get it done? Yes, he does. And that's what makes him great. But it's just something about his shot. Every time I watch it, I'm like,
Now, does that mean he will be injury-free this year? I'm going to knock on wood for him. I hate to even talk about it. No, it does not, because as you have pointed out,
that was good rotation.
The body starts to break down if you're going to abuse it by playing the high minutes that he has played. At some point, it's just going to fail on you here and there. They're not big fails. They're not knee or shoulder fails or Achilles fails. I'm knocking on wood. He has played. At some point, it's just going to
I was trying to see how high he gets up here.
Fail on you here and there.
Yeah. LeBron doesn't have the lift that he once did. LeBron used to get that head above the rim easily. And again, he's older. He's older. But it's just, when that athleticism starts to wane and you can't finish at the basket like you once could, because you know what? Hey, man, these young boys out there, you know what I'm saying? They jumping. They're jumping. So, it's huge if LeBron can't just go and just yam it on people, because then he has to change his game. I.e., that's why we see him shooting more the mid-range and the turnaround, fadeaway mid-range.
Not big fails. They're not knee or shoulder fails or Achilles fails. I'm knocking on wood again. But little of this, pull my calf.
Remember it was his groin?
It's soft tissue muscle pulls.
Yep.
Okay, I got it. Now, this is the only point I'm going to make back to you. And I've asked you this question many times. And this is where I hope the sizzle reel does not turn into a fizzle reel. When you say he goes to the lab, he clearly works so hard on his body. I don't know that he works as hard on his game, because the stats don't say that he ever works on his game, because he's a poor 3-point shooter and he's a poor free throw shooter, especially by his standards.
Right.
You make the case he's the GOAT. By GOAT standards,
he's not the GOAT.
It's terrible. And it doesn't get, it kind of rises and falls, but it just stays. It just stays.
Name a top 5 player that had a great 3-point shooting percentage. If you want to say Kobe.
Top 5 player that had a great field goal percentage. Well, first of all, we have to establish the top 5. And I already told you LeBron is borderline in my top 5. So we definitely got Michael Jordan. We got Bill Russell. We got Kareem. We got Magic. And then that's where the LeBron comes in. It's like, all right, I want to put Bird in. But then it's like again, sometimes it's, it's hard. You know what I got to do? I got to make like a goddamn, what's it called? A formula, where I could wait these different things out. Because, yeah, I give LeBron a lot of credit for, continuing to play. But the thing is, if Bird, and it's not to say that Bird wasn't in shape and all that other stuff, but they didn't have the technology that they had back then that they do today. Like back then, they didn't have all the individual trainers for different things. Like, oh, you got a free throw coach, you got a 3-point coach, you got a left hand dribbling coach. You got all this different specialized stuff that they have nowadays, and that's just on like the game. That's not even about like conditioning and strength. So, to sit there and say, oh, I have to take away from Larry, because if I were to say, well, all right, well, if Larry could have had all the stuff that LeBron has, I have no doubt that he could have done even more. Even more. So my top 5: Jordan, Kareem, Russell, Magic, and that's not in any particular order besides Jordan. Jordan's one, right? And then Bird and LeBron's like knocking on that door. So out of like Russell, no 3-point. Kareem, no 3-point. They're big men, right? Magic, it wasn't a 3-point league back then. The game has evolved so much since when Magic was playing. It's not even quote unquote fair to try to even make an argument about Magic's lack of 3-point shooting ability. Although he did, get better as a shooter. As his career went on, he worked on it, which I think is back to Skip's point. Because LeBron, don't get me wrong, he's definitely gotten better as a shooter. But the free throw stuff is like, yo, what the hell? He shoots free throws like a big man. And there's big men that shoot better free throw percentages than he does.
You want to say Shaq? You want to say Jordan? You want to say Magic?
Well, no, because Shaq's not in my top 5. Shaq's not in my top 5. So no. And again, Shaq, even if he was in my top 5, he don't shoot threes. So what is the purpose of you bringing that up, Shannon?
Only person you can go with is Bird.
Okay, but
Bird, and that's the person that I have in my top 5, and LeBron knocking on the damn door.
those days, they did not prioritize that shot. Now it's the essence of basketball. Everybody shoots threes. LeBron.
Exactly. And like I said, not only is it prioritized today, they didn't have the coaches, the specialized coaches that they do today back then. If they did, that's the thing. Again, back to my previous point. If Larry Bird had the shooting coaches that a freaking LeBron is privy to today, come on, he would be even greater as a shooter. And he was already great without all of that stuff. Playing basketball on a goddamn dirt road in the farm.
Got a career high by far, 8 threes a game. It's a bunch of threes. His three-point shooting ranked 15th in attempts. 15th in attempts.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think LeBron has gotten...
Let me ask you a question, Shannon, and I'll rewind it. Skip just said that LeBron's 3 attempts per game was 15th. LeBron was 15th in the league for threes attempted a game. Now let that sink in for a minute. No, LeBron should not be 15th in the league and threes taken because he's not that good of a 3-point shooter. He's not. He's not. He's not that guy. So and I've noticed it, and I've said this before. I don't think I said it on this channel, but I've said it to out loud in discussion with people. LeBron, and again, this goes back to that dunk that we just saw. LeBron can't get to the basket and finish like he used to. Many people in the league jump higher than him now. They got these fresh legs, so he's settling. And also, what it is about it is he knows that it's less wear and tear. So yeah, he's probably like, I'm settling. But, if I could rack up these threes, I can catch Kareem quicker and easier. Because LeBron is chasing that record. There's no way, knock on wood, without anything crazy happening, that LeBron doesn't pass Kareem's record. So, and it is what it is. It is what it is. But I know there's a lot of people out there that don't see it for what it is and don't want to believe it for what it is, but that's the truth, y'all. He's out here. He knows he's not the same, but yet he's going to shoot or be 15th in threes attempted, knowing damn well that if he has someone on his team, like for instance, if Russell Westbrook was 15th in threes attempted, and don't get me wrong, Russell Westbrook obviously is a far worse 3-point shooter than LeBron James, but even still, LeBron would be irate if he had a teammate doing something like that. And what does that also tell you? It also tells you that he's not really that concerned about winning. I don't think LeBron cares to win anymore. I think that LeBron looks at his championships in such high regard, mainly the last 2, especially the Cleveland one. We already know what he said after that about that made him the greatest player, yada, yada. And then also the bubble one, I think that he's content with championships. His singular focus is chasing Kareem. He gave up on a Jordan on Michael Jordan, and he should have gave up on a Jordan one a long time ago. To be honest with you, but you know what? You never know, because then again, that could have been what propelled him to even go this far and get be on the precipice of passing Kareem for most points all time in the NBA. So it's kind of like the butterfly effect right there.
Career high by far, 8 threes a game. It's a bunch of threes. His 3-point shooting ranked 15th in attempts. 15th in attempts.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think LeBron has gotten better from his rookie year to now shooting the 3 ball? Because if he has, it's working. Him being in the lab is working. Any incremental increase from where he started, any point, any position, if you're further along than where you started, it was great.
Okay.
No. So I have to agree with you with the fact that LeBron from his rookie year to now definitely but that you expect that. That's expected. So you don't get no kudos for that. Like that's what the hell you're supposed to do. Number one. Number two, no any incremental increase, no matter how small, is a good thing. No. There's no reason LeBron should be shooting. I think he's shooting like 73 or 74% from the free throw line. There's no reason for that. There's no reason for that. Like for instance, when Rajon Rondo, couldn't shoot threes or didn't shoot threes, didn't work on his 3-ball, I had to take some points off of him back in the day. I mean, years ago, like when he was like in Boston still, it was like, he can't shoot. That means he's limited and he's kind of like not really a liability, but the excuse me, the defense knows he's not going to shoot and can't shoot. So if he shoots, that's what they want. So now he's turned that around. But think about it, dude. Why'd you wait so damn long? That's why I always gave Blake Griffin credit to a degree. And that's why Blake Griffin's able to still float around the league today, because he can shoot. Is he a lights-out shooter? No, but he can shoot. Because when he first came in the league, he was just out there just yamming on people and all that. He couldn't shoot, but then he worked on his shot, and then started moving back further and further and further. And, was able to elongate his career because of that. So I always gave Blake credit. And again, when you want to talk about ugly shots, one of the ugliest shots I've ever seen. But hey, I can't knock the dude for trying. You know what I'm saying? Now that's increase. That's increase that should be applauded. Okay, not a freaking somebody that's been in the league 20 years and still can't freaking shoot free throws. You know what I'm saying? That is just not a good 3-point shooter. He's not. Maybe if he shot less threes, he could fix that percentage and, change the perception of his 3-point shooting. But, that's a story for a different day. Anyway, y'all, this video has definitely rolled on a lot longer than I would have liked for it to. But there's just a lot to unpack when it comes to LeBron James, because there's so many different narratives and freaking falsities, surrounding him and his quote-unquote his greatness and all that stuff. So, and I don't think I've done a LeBron video in a long time, so I was able to get a lot off my chest. But anyway, y'all, please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll check y'all out later.